There's a misconception that the AI vulnerability race is imminent. The reality is that it's already begun. Okay, that chilling statement comes directly from John Holdquist over at Google's Threat Intelligence Group, and honestly, it's a massive wake-up call for all of us. We often talk about AI cyber attacks like there's some kind of future dystopia, like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. But as we're going to see in today's explainer, this threat, it isn't just on the horizon, it's literally sitting right in our laps.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're unpacking a fascinating and frankly deeply unsettling report from The Guardian. We're looking at what I like to call the competence paradox. Let's dive right into this. So on one hand, we have AI demonstrating this terrifying industrial-scale efficiency for hackers and bad actors, right? But on the exact same token, its actual proven impact on our broader economy and our daily productivity is, well, it's highly questionable. It's a pretty shocking contrast, and we're going to break it down step by step to see exactly what the data is really telling us.
Section 1. The AI hacking explosion, a rapid escalation.
Google reports that in a mere 3 months, yes, 3 months, AI-powered hacking has escalated from a nascent, kind of emerging problem into a full-blown industrial-scale threat. That is just breathtaking speed. The entire landscape of digital security is shifting beneath our feet way faster than almost anyone predicted, because, as it turns out, AI models are extremely adept at coding, which means they're becoming these incredibly powerful tools for sniffing out and exploiting vulnerabilities across all kinds of software systems.
Now, what's really wild here is who is actually doing the hacking. We aren't just talking about a couple of isolated individuals testing the boundaries in a basement somewhere. We're looking at state-linked actors from China, North Korea, and Russia. And get this, look at the tools they're weaponizing to refine and really scale up these attacks. They aren't necessarily these shadowy dark web exclusives. No, they're commercial AI models. We're talking about Gemini, Claude, and tools from OpenAI. So the really crucial point for us to understand here is that the exact same commercial AI models you might use to, say, draft an email or brainstorm a project, well, they're being leveraged by some of the world's absolute most dangerous actors.
Section 2. The Mythos Threat. Unprecedented Power.
Okay, before we go any further, we really need to clarify a crucial cybersecurity term, a zero-day vulnerability. Simply put, this is a software flaw that is completely unknown to the developers who actually built the software, and because they don't know about it, they've had literally 0 days to fix it. Make sense? So if hackers find it first, they essentially have a free pass to exploit it until the developers finally catch on and scramble to patch it. Keep this definition in the back of your mind because it is exactly what makes these new AI systems so uniquely destructive. And this next story brilliantly illustrates just how high the stakes really are. Last month, the AI company Anthropic made a pretty stunning decision. They had this brand new model called Mythos, but they outright declined to release it to the public. Why? Well, because it was actually too good at its job. Mythos discovered 0-day flaws in every major operating system and every major web browser. No way, right? Anthropic asserted that this model posed a legitimate threat to global financial institutions and governments if it happened to fall into the wrong hands. It actually necessitated this massive coordinated defensive action across the entire tech industry just to patch the holes that this one AI found.
But here's the thing. The danger isn't just theoretical, and it certainly isn't safely locked away in some corporate lab. According to Google, a criminal group was recently on the verge of launching a mass exploitation campaign using a 0-day vulnerability. And the really chilling part? This group appeared to be using a large language model, an LLM, that was not Mythos. It was a completely different commercially available AI model. That means the capability to do massive, widespread harm, it's already out there in the wild. Let's look at another quick example of what happens when these tools are just out in the open. Hackers have been experimenting with an AI tool called OpenClaw. Now, you might remember this went viral back in February of 2026. It's essentially an AI agent with absolutely zero guardrails. People were handing over large chunks of their digital lives to it, only to discover its, let's say, unfortunate tendency to accidentally mass delete entire email inboxes. I know, it sounds chaotic and maybe even a little funny at first, but it perfectly highlights how experimental, completely unconstrained AI gives malicious actors these highly disruptive, fast-acting tools that can cause immediate, widespread damage.
Section 3. A tool for defense. The flip side.
Consider this warning from Stephen Murdoch. He's a professor of security engineering over at University College London. He says, in general, we have reached a stage where the old way of discovering bugs is gone and it will now all be LLM assisted. What's really fascinating to me is that Professor Murdoch isn't panicking. He points out that AI is also supercharging the defensive side of cybersecurity too. The crucial takeaway for us here is that the entire cybersecurity industry hasn't just, evolved a bit. It is fundamentally and permanently changed. Both the attackers and the defenders, they are now relying heavily on AI. It's a whole new ballgame.
Section 4. The productivity illusion. Hype versus reality. All right, now we're going to execute a pretty sharp narrative turn here. We are leaving the fast-paced, high-stakes world of AI hacking and entering the somewhat bureaucratic world of government economic forecasts. £45 billion. That's right, that is the UK government's official estimate for the gains in savings and productivity they expect from public sector investment in digital tools and AI. It is a highly optimistic, frankly astronomical figure. But it begs the question, if AI is proving to be incredibly effective for ambitious hackers, is it actually bolstering our broader economy in the way governments are completely banking on?
Well, the Ada Lovelace Institute, or ALI, which is an independent AI research body, has stepped in to pour some serious cold water on these multi-billion-pound assumptions. While the government assumptions focus heavily on simple time savings and, basic cost reductions, the AII points out some really glaring blind spots. They argue that these glossy projections totally ignore critical outcomes like worker well-being, and more importantly, whether the AI actually leads to better service outcomes for the public. It's like they're only looking at half the picture.
Let's break down exactly what the Ada Lovelace Institute found in their recent report. They are warning us that these massive productivity claims, they rest on completely untested assumptions. They're relying on methodologies with severe limitations that policymakers just don't fully appreciate yet. On top of that, they completely fail to account for the actual impact on public sector employment and real-world service delivery. Ultimately, the ALI concludes there is this massive, really worrying gap between the booming confidence of these productivity claims and the actual strength of the evidence behind them. So on the economic side, we're essentially flying blind here.
So, how do we fix this? Well, the ALI outlines some very concrete steps that governments must take to shift from all this hype to actual rigorous analysis. First up, future studies must actually reflect the uncertainty surrounding this technology, rather than just blindly presenting best-case scenarios as guaranteed facts. Second, government departments need to start measuring the impact of their AI programs right from day one. And third, we absolutely have to support long-term studies that track productivity gains over years, not just weeks. Because look, if we're going to spend billions of dollars or pounds, we need solid proof, not just promises.
Section 5. The competence paradox. Pulling it together.
And that brings us right back to the core irony of everything we've discussed today. On one side, we have the cyber threat. AI is undeniably and very visibly boosting the speed, the scale, and the sophistication of hackers. It's finding 0 days and creating industrial-scale threats in a matter of months. But on the flip side, looking at the economy, AI's impact is resting on untested assumptions, questionable real-world value, and a pretty severe lack of long-term evidence. It is a true paradox. Think about it. The technology is terrifyingly competent at breaking things, but it's entirely unproven at actually improving our daily workplaces.
Which leaves us with this final, really vital question to ponder. If AI is already perfectly productive for hackers, why isn't it for the rest of us? It's something we all need to be thinking about as this technology continues to evolve at breakneck speed. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. I really hope this deep dive helped clarify this complex, rapidly changing landscape for you. Keep asking questions, keep focusing on the facts, and I'll catch you next time.